Welcome. Hello. Thank you so much for tapping in, turning on, tuning in with I, Enchantress the Babbler, on our evolutionary, revolutionary ride. How are you doing at this time? I am your intuitive reader, channeler, divine conduit here, delivering messages to you, for you, from the channels that whisper whatever mana it will be for you. Right? Because I'm not here to tell you what it is for you, right? But I love helping others master their own DIY and evolutionary alignment and alchemized kind of ways. This is entertainment for your evolutionary entertainment, right? So I am a living muse, and I am here in service of the all. Right? So, and don't get service and servitude twisted. That don't mean you become someone's doormat or pushover or whatever the case may be. Because no, that don't be me and that don't be you. Okay? And that's just how we do. We are in our full alchemy of alignment, right? Of authenticity, of purpose. You're living in purpose. You're discovering your purpose, and your purpose is gonna grow. Like, don't limit and think, just because, go back into that childlike wonder of whenever they used to ask me as a child, what did I want to be when I still ask myself that. What do I want to be when I grow up? You know what I'm saying? The sun. They who dream by day are cognizant of many things which escape those who dream only by night. And that is you. You are the sun. You are that which, but look at them, they see 7 of Swords, right? So look at it. So I love the depiction, right? So the sun, right? In its melancholic state. Right? Because it's 7 of Quills, which I believe the Quills is the Swords, right? Misery is manifold. But the word that I'm looking at here is manifold. I like to break down the etymology of a lot of words. I do a lot of research study. I'm forever a student of life. And so etymology, roots, root work, shadow work, all that kind of stuff. My forte. Right? Giddy in every kind of way. So you bring the sun to those suffering. And so in your evolutionary state of being the sun in this miserable world, right? They were not nice to you. I looked down out there and I wasn't even going to use those. Right? Let them come back to their senses. So it's like being your kind, authentic self in servitude of the all. And meanwhile, feeling every quill, stab, prick, dick, motherfucker, idiotas, stupidos, dum-dum, cruel, evil prick from this world. And even if it has caused you to die a many gruesome, bloody, right? Die. Resurrected, you are every single motherfucking time. Sorry for the focus. I don't know how to play around with this thing, guys. But it goes in and out, and then it goes dark and light, and dark and light, and then sometimes I look scary. Right? And so being young and dipped in folly, I fell in love with melancholy. But you are the sun. 2, uniting this infusion within you. So if you are tapping in, turning on, tuning in, and please don't don't think that just because I don't say your element, that means this doesn't apply to you, because it doesn't matter the element, but I'm just saying. So this is like fire, water elements, right? This is like polarities of energies existing within your whole. So I'm not going to name any elements now. Thank you so much. Right, so it's like having the polarities of different elements existing within your whole entire being, and you are the unique vessel asked to be this conduit of all these elemental energies existing within you that can create disharmony, if not harmonize. So you can have polarized elements, like, oh, let me give a perfect example. My moon sign. All right, we're going to go with Western first, and then we can even go to the Vedic, okay? But we're just going to tap into the Western first. In Western astrology, my moon sign is in Pisces. In Western astrology, my rising sign is Virgo. Well, now you're like, okay, so what? Moon rise? My moon is it's my moon to rise, my rise to moon are polar opposites. What do you mean they're polar opposite signs? Well, if you're into an astrology, right? Here's a little Astro 101. Every single sign has a polar opposite. So that's what I'm always talking about with me and my daughter. Me and my daughter, and let's just say we're just going to touch on the sun signs just to keep this as simple as possible, and not going to even the whole astrological composite birth chart. Me and my daughter are polar opposite sun signs in both Western and Vedic astrology. In Western astrology, I'm a Sagittarius. She is a Gemini. In Vedic astrology, I am a Scorpio. She is a Taurus. But here we go. But now that's dealing with other people external from your environment, which is how the world can ultimately feel, especially as a quantum, electromagnetic, interdimensional, multidimensional being. Did you get all those multi, full alchemy, dimension, frequency, energy, vibe? So much. Oh, this is my old merch shirt. I made this. What year? Oh, it was like, if at most 2.5 years ago or something. Let me take you on a journey. See, so yeah, so my see, we're on a spaceship being abducted because the unicorn up in here. Intentions the Babbler Spiritual Services LLC. All right. Do you see it? This is entertainment for your entertainment. Do you see it? Okay. Oh, we're telling like it's okay. All right. And I'm gonna. Because sometimes when I put certain music and stuff, it then blocks it from certain areas and stuff like that. But anyway, so what was I saying? So these polarities, right? These astrological polarities, they also can exist within your whole thing. And never mind, I'm touching on this subject so lightly. I'm trying to simplify it as if I'm talking to the 3-year-olds in the class is going to teach. Some of my classes, not everybody's 3-year-old. I'm just saying. when I have to simplify certain kind of yoga ideas or things like that, I try to make it as simplified as possible. So I'm doing the same thing with such grandeur concepts of astrology, science, spirit science, right? It's a spirit science we got up in here. This is quantum school here on YouTube Lab. Okay, quantum is our psychic. You know, this quantum physics, we're quantum psychic. I'm gonna write that. Quantum psychic. Okay, that's gonna be the title. We are quantum psychic. It ain't quantum physics, but it's quantum physics because this is spirit science, right? This is spirit science on our energy alchemy, right? Right, but this is about polarity, astrological polarities. Who here is a lefty too? That means you live in you're ambidextrous. I believe all lefties, even if they can't write with their right hand so well or whatever, they are pretty much ambidextrous because we are conditioned into more of a right-handed society. Left-handed people usually are taught from right-handed perspectives. And so we learn to adapt and do, like, it's just like when I play sports and stuff like that too. Like I can bat, I can throw, I can do stuff with my right, my left, like, you know, things like that. So you become very left and right ritualistic, an infusion of the brainwave activity that just activates a little bit differently for you than it does for others who don't have to try so hard. Because when you were learning how to adapt to I remember learning how to adapt to a right-handed society when they would try to show me something, teach me something, or whatever the case may be, and having to work my brain just a little bit more to try to get the configurations too. And then also like learning like piano and stuff like that. Like, although I taught myself piano and then I took piano and then learned what I didn't teach myself when I taught myself piano. Even my teacher, my professor, my piano teacher, he's like, the frustration because it's a different composite tree to a lot of things, you know what I mean? And so you're probably very smart too, because of your over analytical mind. Left-handed society. And I ain't talking about leftist and rightist. I don't even know which is which. They both the same. It's idiotic. It's part of the problem. But anyways, it's a huge fucking part of the problem that'll keep you in a split. And then whoa, I just received a lot. But yeah, so the polarities, going back to the polarities, right? So you might have configurations within your whole entire being that can have polarity. And that's not even talking about the planet, the house it sits in, the Lord it's under, the system structure, you know, things like that, the rulings within those rulings and things like that. So there's so many little compartments into understanding, understanding, overstanding a lot of the stuff. But if we were just to break down even simple little compositories of just little aspects to within our whole entire being, right? So for Vedic astrology, right? So I just told you Western, my moon is Pisces and my rising is Virgo. So my energy land and my external rise can conflict. There can be in disharmony. It's two different elements being asked to, hey, work it out. Oh, but okay, the confliction. In Vedic astrology, my moon is Aquarius and my rising is Leo. Those are polar opposites too. Okay, and so imagine. You need me? Okay. Totally forgot I said I was going to make smoothies. So, welcome back. Not sure where we left off at, but I know we were talking about polarities. Right? So, these polarities existing within each and every one of us, right? In different ways, you don't have to look at it astrologically. There's many people that don't believe in astrology. So I'm not here to tell you what to believe in, but we're here to connect, right? Beautiful. So learning to harmonize. These are gonna be fun, okay? So these are really funny. So yeah, so there might so these are I cannot take full credit for. Dance Walker Tarot here on YouTube land reminded me of these cards. So we have like similar, like I love her card collection, and she does, you know, she has her own tarot channel and things like that. And I love the uniqueness. Like it's like the way that I do different kind of, I don't just use tarot and oracle and runes and all this kind of stuff. I make up stuff. I use other things and whatever, and she does the same thing. So these were inspired by her. So Dance Walker Tarot, you should definitely go check her out. But yeah, so it's like getting to know the aspects of yourself that might be hiding, that need to be seen more, right? So that's funny. So this is reminding me of, I don't know which video it is, like I'm getting like because this reminds me of like so much hype up on here. This might be even going off subject and things like that, but this one reminds me of like people on here. Oh my gosh. So the other day I was driving and I never listened to the radio, and but the radio happened to be on. And so I left it on because it was interesting, because this guy, he was calling in the station. I don't know what station I was listening to. I don't even know, because I said I don't even listen to the radio. I don't even know what station it was. But this dude had called and he wanted the station to call this chick that had blocked him, and they went out on a date. They met on a dating website. I think, I don't know. Plenty of fish website, and I mean dating app or whatever. I don't know. And he said she was hot, exactly how she looked in her pictures, and we had such an amazing time. She even said she couldn't wait to our second date. And hold on one second. So he's like, please, like, so then he went on a date with her, and he said everything went wonderful. They had such a great time. They were so connected. She even said that she can't wait for their second date. So the whole time I'm listening to this, and I'm like, something's off with this dude, right? I'm like, something is so off with this dude, which is what intrigued me to keep on, because my intuition, my spidey senses were going off. And this also is another message for some of you who need to start trusting your intuition more, even if it's crazy, even if you know, like, there's a lot, like, so for me, I'm sorry, I'm on work mode too, so you have to understand this. So so for me, sorry, what was I saying? What was I saying? I know I was talking about the radio station, but I'm saying something. All right, hold on. Right. Okay. So for me, one of my, I'm going to talk about this. It's actually, right. So on the next vlog, okay? Whenever you see this, know that the vlog will be aired soon too, if it hasn't already been. Talking about this intuition, this connection to something other than what we understand it to be, like leading up to the death of my mother and my insanity in regards to her condition while she was living, and my freak out and my hysteria and my crying and not wanting her to go anywhere because she might not come back, like, you know, learning to trust the intuition. And so early on I learned that, and then the stench of death, and I learned that, you know, it's just certain things you tap into. I'm also a certified hospice volunteer, right? Because of my connection with death and my ability to navigate through it. And so, you know, many of you might have these inklings, these inner knowings of certain kind of things, and it may not be the greatest of news sometimes. Like, it's like, you know, it's like the Poe cards, right? It's like the Poe cards, that melancholy. And so being young and dipped in folly, I fell in love with melancholy, right? Like, so you might have gifts, right? Or be tapped in, turned on, tuned in to certain areas that might be very challenging and for others. And it might not be the sweetest thing. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's like you're the Grim Reaper. So that's how it has made me feel. It has made me feel like a Grim Reaper in certain areas of my life, because it's like the bearer of horror news, horrible news, or news that so it's like when right, so it's like learning to accept that which you see, to trust that which you see, and to know that it's a part of your journey, your uniqueness, your stamp, your quality, your quantumness that is here to further expand and get you into your alchemization so that you can do what is part of your purpose here on this land. And it's to help people expand, it's to help others evolve, and it's going to happen with your state of evolution. Each one reach one, teach one. But until you get into your state of evolution and do that which you must, right? What you may do externally may not be living up to its fullest potential because of the repression, the regression, the oppression, the condition, the excuse, the trauma, the drama, you know, that can cause you to not fully dive in or be living as your truest, most authentic self. And so nobody wants to hear that when, oh, like, you know, so when I started to know that I knew when someone was gonna go soon, that's rather unsettling. And when you're young, it's gruesome. It's chilling. It has a smell and it has a taste. And so when you don't have validation of your gifts or recognition of that which you are, and you're surrounded by toxicities or people that are not tapped in, turned on, tuned in the way that you are, who might reject your melancholy light, or they may make you feel that way, not so bright, right? Because you might trigger people, right? So I started to learn to, thank you. So, and not all information that you receive needs to be shared. So that's like learning to walk through this discernment with your own care in mind, you know, and just how, you know, it's a learning experience. It's all such a learning experience. And so here you are asked to be the sun in a miserable world. And the miserable world may not be feeding you back shit because of their state of condition. And you're asked to rise from that folly, to rise from that melancholy, and to still be the sun anyways, right? They were not nice, right? They may be acting like this, all superior, all in your face, all upset, all angry, right? Like, I started realizing that too with death, right? So I either have two kinds of reactions from the dying. They welcome me, or they get angry. And so it's the same way when you are a quantum being. Who's being asked to rise, anyways, despite the bites. So people are like that. They're either gonna take to you or they're not. And then sometimes when it's severe because their evolution is catching up to them, and when it's like, knock, what are you gonna do? Ignore this message or messenger too? And so they get angry with you, or they might attack, or they might reject, or they might start a war or sabotage some more. And so you're learning to understand your armor, understand your gift, understand your abilities, and also learn your purpose, function, and way, right? So a lot of the times when we're young in our evolution of gifts, we might loosely be so quick to share everything to only get shut down by the miserable world, right? And so then you learn to suppress or whatever the case may be. And then there's a rebirth that happens, there's an awakening that happens that causes you to come back out. And so that's kind of this transitionary part, right? If you wish to forget anything on the spot, make a note that this thing is to be remembered, right? Quills, the ace of truth, right? So swords. It's you're in your authenticity, you're in your truth, right? She came and departed as a shadow. I was never made aware of her entrance into my closed study, save by the dear music of her low, sweet voice as she placed her marble hand upon my shoulder, right? So it's with love, right? It's this energy, this divine feminine energy of love and of understanding to the depths to you. You know, I know I went a little bit all over the place because I paused and all this kind of stuff. But anyways, so part of the message to here that I'm just saying and that I'm hearing is learning to trust. Oh, let me finish the story. About the guy. Oh my gosh. If you are tapped into or non-tuned in and you're following, you're like all over the place with the story too, but you're in it, I let you. Forgive me. But it's like that sometimes, right? When we're trying to articulate the complexities and the vastness of the infiniteness that we all are, it sometimes comes out like this, like it's just a wild story. So anyways, I was listening to the thing and he's like, so I'm listening to the guy and I'm intrigued and I'm like, there's something wrong with this guy. And I'm like, and I hear it. I'm like, he does not look like what she imagined him to look like. Right? So he calls the radio station, tells them all this or whatever, and they're like, okay, we're gonna call this girl for you, try to set you up on a second date, blah, 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 blah. So they call the girl and she starts talking right away. She's like, he's a fraud. He's a con artist. He's nothing like what his picture looked like. He's nothing like what he said. Like, so clearly, obviously, this girl was very and this is not knocking anybody and all this kind of stuff, but like he said about her was that she was the hottest girl he's ever seen and beautiful body, blah, 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 goes to the gym, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. So whatever he put up on his dating profile made her believe that he was one of the same, because she even mentioned how he had like a belly. And we could be like, oh, that's vanity, that's superficial, and that's all, that's whatever. But she said it, and she said it real. She was like, had you been honest, she goes, I don't care. She's like, you can look like whatever you want to look like. She's like, but be honest in your profile, be honest in your pictures, because I went out with someone that I thought I was going out with and turns out to not be. So had he had just been honest from Jump Street, she would have never went out with him to begin with. So it's like trickery, right? It's like trickery. So there's like a lot of that. And that's reminding me of another video that I did when I was talking about like this body dysmorphia and how people don't even, like, you got people hating on themselves, hating on their stuff. And then you got naturally beautiful people too, and all this kind of stuff. I'm not knocking on, I'm naturally beautiful. Whatever, right? It's just a leveling a state of peace, kumbaya. You don't like it, you can keep it moving. Right? Kind of stuff. But it's loving yourself, right? In a way that nobody can except for you until you can, and then they do. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that too. But right. So it's like, you know, I can use filters, I can use this, I don't know how to do Photoshop. I don't use any kind of like face tune stuff that I'm learning that a lot of people do, because I get duped too. I'm like, here you are thinking that because you being your authentic self, that everybody else is being their authentic self. And no. No, most of these people don't even look like themselves. They're online versions of themselves. Like, you know what I mean? So I became insane with long intervals of horrible sanity. To pause, will, pause, I believe, is Earth. Two of Pentacles. Right, so you're working on your pentacles, you're working on your 10 of wells, you're happily ever after. And neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons down under this. Hi, baby. You woke up from a nap. Yeah, we're gonna go. Oh, I should get to go to little girl. She's a little girl, yes. Okay, so and neither the angels in heaven above nor the demons down under the sea can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabelle Lee. Annabelle Lee, 10 of wells, right? So it's finding your happily ever after within a world of misery. Right? And coming in. But like, so the strongest part of the message here, because I have to wrap it up and I have to go, is learning to trust your intuition, right? So prior to listening to the guy on the radio and stuff like that, I had said to myself that he didn't look like what he looked like. Now, mind you, this is just channeling, right? Or picking up intuitively, right? However you want to source intuition, whether it's you being tapped into source, whether it's being you tapped into a higher sense of self, universe, whatever you connect that part to, right? Intuition is intuition, right? And so your intuition is growing, and it's only growing more. It's always going to be growing, but the more that you're showing it the validation, attention, and acknowledging it in the way that it deserves to be acknowledged, like, you know, even just something so simple like that, of how that flew through my mind, and then it confirmed for me when the girl was saying all that stuff, like, oh, I was right, like that kind of stuff, things like that, right? So learning to trust your intuition in such a powerful way, right? So once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore. You are going over a lot of things right now. Below, a stir is in the air, the wave, there is a movement there. So there is major movement happening for you right now, because you're lit, you're on fire too, right? So you're coming in charging too on your chariot as well, right? So as soon as the balloon quits the earth, it is subjected to the influence of many circumstances, tending to create a difference in its weight, augmenting or diminishing its ascending power, right? So this is a tower moment of revelation, right? While I gazed, the fissure rapidly widened. There came a fierce breath of the whirlwind, the entire orb of the satellite at once upon my sight. My brain reeled as I saw the mighty walls rushing asunder. And so there are certain things that are coming apart for better things to come together, right? And so for those of you that have been feeling insecure about your position and stuff in the world, look a little closer, because the people that you're looking up to, or that you're idolizing, or that you're imagining is a certain type of way, don't even look like their fucking pictures on any kind of way. You get what I'm saying? And then for those of you that have been hiding behind the veil has been lifted. The veil has been lifted. Things are now shifted. Okay? And it's time for you to just 1, 2, 3, and away. 8 of candles. Burn it in every kind of way, right? Get out of your own way. And to time to create. 1, 2, 3, and away, because you're taking flight, right? As you wait for your stuff to come in, right? You are here, right? So I can conceive nothing more sublimating than the strange peril and novelty of an adventure such as this. May God grant that we succeed. I like that. So I can conceive nothing more sublimating than the strange peril and novelty of an adventure such as this. May God grant that we succeed. May success be upon us here. Right? So till next time. See you again. See you soon.